is a pro franchise worth, really? I mean,
the Milwaukee Bucks sold for $550 million.
There you go. There you go. But they're in Milwaukee. I mean, not a slap on anybody from Milwaukee that might be listening, but, you know, L.A. is high profile. New York is high profile. It's all about real estate. We talk about that all the time in any business. And L.A. is prime real estate, and there's only two teams in L.A., the Clippers and the Lakers, you know, and as far as NBA basketball. So the Clippers have always been the brunt of every joke, professional sports-wise, all the way from Johnny Carson on the Tonight Show. He's been picking on the Clippers since then. You know, now the Clippers have started to rise up, and, you know, you wondered eventually that if the Clippers would ever get to the level, and, of course, they're never probably going to be to the level of the Lakers, what the Lakers have done in their career, but you just look at where they are and the location and the stardom and all the high-profileness of being in L.A. and finally getting some players in there that can play the game, and you see what it's done to that price tag. So, you know, Donald Sterling capitalized on a great opportunity there as far as selling them right now. Instead of sitting on them and allowing the value to decrease, he gets rid of them at a prime time when you got all these people out there bidding, you know, all these people grabbing at it. You know, you don't know what 5 years is going to be.
Yeah, well, he seems to can't make up his mind. You know, we talked about it Saturday. Well, oh, yeah, something happened, and he has decided that it's okay. He's going to let his wife broker this deal. And then a day later, he comes out and says, I've come to my senses. You know, I'm going to fight this thing to the bitter end. I don't know what's going to happen going through this, but it's going to be interesting to see either way. Big Cat Weekend is this weekend on Auburn University campus. Big, huge recruiting weekend. We're going to have Keith Niebuhr on about 5:30 to talk about that. We can talk about that a little bit more as the show goes along. This has been a big deal for Auburn's recruiting for the last several years. It kind of, you know, galvanizes the recruiting classes, and it's just been a big deal altogether. But, you know, we'll talk about anything you'd like to talk about. As always, your calls come first, and we'll go to the phone line.
Let's go to the phone lines and pick up Anthony in Auburn. Anthony, you're on Sports Call. What's going on, Anthony?
Not much. I just wanted I really like this topic of the Sterling stuff and the value of these teams and things like that. I mean, can you imagine that in this sports world today that if you own and you're worth $500+ million, you can't buy a sports team anymore, that it's basically you got to be a billionaire to do this? I mean, like Andy said, the last one, Milwaukee, 500 and what? 530 million, whatever it was.
I think it was 550, but that's closing up.
Yeah, 550, and now all of a sudden, and I was listening to a guy from Forbes who was talking about how he knows that $2 billion price tag, because I don't know if you realize this, but the Clippers have the worst deal as far as the arena for any professional team in this country, because they don't receive any fees as far as for their suites. They don't get any cut of that. So this new owner is going to have to renegotiate that. He is essentially cannot have any other concerts. You know, these arenas are big time money because you got concerts, all these shows, conventions, but the Clippers get none of that. They get very little parking costs from, you know, all the things that happen from that. They get very little concession fees. I mean, yeah, that thing's worth $2 billion, but like the Ford guy was saying, there is a lot of downsides to owning the Clippers compared to maybe, say, owning the New York Knicks, because the New York Knicks own their arena. And so, you know, it's going to be interesting. Now, one thing they did talk about how the Clippers do have on their side is they've got a new TV contract that they can renegotiate. And we all know the L.A. market. I mean, heck, we saw what the Dodgers did, and now what the Dodgers can do because of a TV deal. So, I mean, it's insane that how inflation of sport entities has gone up so much, especially in basketball. But like before the guy was saying, basketball is, as far as its brand, is as bigger than it ever has been because of the world, you know, all these world-known athletes that are marketable around the world. It's just insane, some of this stuff, but you're right. Donald Sterling's got it made. He can sit back now and collect his money, and, you know, so But guys, you do a great job. I just want to put my opinion on that. And it's amazing that we got to be billionaires in sports teams here.
Crazy stuff, Anthony. We appreciate your call. Okay.
Thank you. Do a good job, guys. Thank you soon.
Thanks, Anthony. And there's two elements that go into it. Number one, there's only so many professional franchises out there, so it's a limited market. And then number two, use location. And Milwaukee, $500 million versus the Clippers at $2 billion. It's based on where they are. Are they in a high-profile market? Milwaukee is not a high-profile market versus Los Angeles, and they share the same arena with the Lakers, correct? The Staples Center. So, look, it's not a shock right now that the Clippers have been shunned all these years and they got nothing because they had no ammo. They were just glad that the Lakers let them play in the Staples Center. Or back when did they play in the Forum also when L.A. we used to play in the Forum?
I'm not even
okay.
Sure.
So did they play out in a parking lot somewhere? Because literally the Clippers were probably the losingest franchise in professional sports, and now they have created some self-worth, and now they have some ammo to go in there and renegotiate some things because their team's worth a little bit more. So the $2 billion price tag, if it's inflated and it's ridiculous to all of us, but if Milwaukee's worth $500 million, would a team in New York or LA be worth $2 billion? Probably so. I don't know.
I don't think the Clippers are anywhere close to worth $2 billion. Now, we talked about this when this whole thing blew up, and they said that they were worth. Some estimates had it about $800 billion. Some had it
$800 million.
$800 million. Some of it had it at $1 billion. Now it's $2 billion.
Well, that's what.
Wait a minute. The Dodgers were sold for $2.1 something billion, but that was land. That was TV deals. That was all these other things that went along with the team. Now this is just the Clippers and the practice facility. So, and the deal is, it's Steve Ballmer. That's the guy who supposedly is buying them. The former CEO of Microsoft.
Yeah.
He's worth $20.3 billion.
So he's got a couple
it's
to lay around.
10% of his worth.
That's just what I'm saying. So
it's a toy.
It is a toy, and
it's a speedy race boat for him.
Well, what you're dealing with is you're looking at the grand scheme of things, and a guy that we can't grasp $2 billion, but somebody's got $20 billion, and looking at it as an investment,
not gonna miss it.
You're not going to miss it, and that's why it is where it is, and they're also taking advantage of a hot media story where you got a lot of high-profile billionaires bidding on this. Which one's going to win? It becomes an ego battle. So in essence, are the Clippers really worth $2 billion? No, but is it inflated because of all these elements? Yes. So that's where you are with it. So Andy, when we come back from break here in just a minute, I'm going to run down the current scoreboard on NCAA regional. So because there's some interesting scores going on. Some teams, of course, Alabama's already lost 1-0 to Kennesaw State, but there's some games in progress right now involving some SEC teams that it's kind of a little shocking right now.
And to have 10 teams in, you're gonna have some ups and downs, and Alabama's Achilles heel all season has been not a lack of hitting, much like Auburn's. They've had great pitching. They were in a pitching duel today. I think there was 9 hits total in the entire game. Alabama loses 1-0. Congratulations to Kennesaw State. So, big win for them. A small school. A lot of small schools, find their way into the baseball tournament, and that's good. I like to see these schools. I know one of our colleagues, Luke Robinson, always talks about the big boys, and he likes it when the big boys are good and everything. And I I pull for the Cinderellas in the NCAA tournament. I'm kind of the opposite way. I like the baseball tournament because you see these smaller teams, come up and do well. So. I'm all for that. We really haven't gotten to our question of the day. We'll go ahead and throw that out there. It's been an interesting segment so far, but our question of the day, the SEC spring meetings are wrapping up now down there in Florida, and one of the things that has come out of it, we're talking about schedules, obviously. We're talking about autonomy for the big conferences, and we're talking about the playoff and how strength of schedule is going to be a big deal. And to be a part of that, should the SEC eliminate FCS opponents? This is kind of a big deal. Will Muschamp came out and said yes, and we talked about that. Maybe he wants to get rid of them because he lost to one last year.
I was about to say, how about beat one before you worry about getting rid of them? So.
Yeah, but there's pros and cons to this, and it's not just a blanket black and white issue. So I'd like to hear from you. What do you think? Should the SEC eliminate FCS opponents? How do you feel about it? Give us a call at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free, or locally at 334-887-3401, or tweet us at Sportscall AU. However you choose to, just be a part of the program. We encourage you to do so. We're up against our first break, but please stay with us. There's more to come on this Friday edition of Sports Call, brought to you by Always Money.
Go with Graceland Portable Buildings for storage facilities and the highest quality hunting and fishing cabins you'll ever see. Graceland blows away the competition with the finest building materials, top quality lumber, and secure metal roofs. And Graceland is so sure that their buildings will move only when you want them to that they offer the strongest warranties in the business. Buy outright or lease to own, there is no credit check required. And Graceland will deliver and set up your new building for free. Look for the G and visit Graceland Portable Buildings on South College in Auburn, or go to GracelandPortableBuildings.com.
Don't give up just yet. All Around Computers can help. 887-7773. They come to you for all your technology and computer service needs. If you don't want to install it, configure it, or even deal with it, All Around Computers can do it all. 887-7773. Do you have pop-ups, viruses, or is your computer running slow? All Around Computers can help you with it all. Don't call All Around. Call All Around Computers today. They come to your home or business for all your technology service needs. 887-7773.
In today's competitive environment, time is money. Allegra Printing in Auburn has the fastest turnaround. With their state-of-the-art, all-digital printing equipment, Allegra delivers with speed, precision, and quality every time. And their outside sales reps will help you from start to finish, so you don't even have to leave your office. From simple to sophisticated, turn to Allegra, East Alabama's go-to print company for more than 25 years. Visit them in Auburn at 1625 East University Drive, or call 887-3180. Allegra Printing. Quality service, expert solutions, professional results.
Auburn Links is your home for great golf. Just off exit 51, Auburn Links features a beautiful layout with Bermuda grass greens and rolling fairways, all right next to Parkinson's Mill Creek. For the last 20 years, Auburn Links has been providing Lee County with the best golfing experience around whatever your skill level may be. Looking for a fun family activity? Auburn Links has great group rates and membership specials for everyone, and their weekday rates now include Fridays. Be sure to follow Auburn Links on Facebook and Twitter for special deals and limited time offers. Auburn Links on Shell Toomer Parkway. Call 887-5151.
Hello, I'm Sandy Toomer, Republican candidate for the Alabama House District 79 here in Lee County. I'm running because we were promised 4 years ago that the culture of corruption in Montgomery would be cleaned up. Well, my opponent lied. He became a part of the system he promised to change, and that's what happens when public officials stay in office too long. That's why I favor term limits, not career politicians. I'm Sandy Toomer, husband, father, former missionary, a small business owner. I'm a rock-solid conservative believing in smaller government, the right to life, and traditional marriage. Now, contrary to what you've been told by my opponent, I am not an Obama liberal. But I do want my grandchildren to remember me as a public servant who ran to make a difference and not a buck. The election is this Tuesday, and I would be honored to have your vote because we must change Montgomery. And starting with your vote, we can and we will.
Paid for by Committee to elect Sandy Toomer, 826 Opelika Road, Auburn, Alabama, 36830. The Capri Community Film Society is a nonprofit organization that owns and operates the Capri Theater in Montgomery. The Capri is the oldest continually operating movie theater in the state of Alabama and features independent movies, both American and foreign, as well as classic films and summer children's matinees. The theater is supported by donations and memberships, and the society is community-based, mission-driven, and has served Montgomery and the surrounding area since 1983. Located at 1045 East Fairview Avenue in the Oak Cloverdale section of Montgomery and online at capritheater.org.
Tiger Communications and TK's Valero Store 18 present Fueling Happy Hour. Any weekday, Auburn High and Lee Scott Academy students can present their student ID and get a free fountain drink with a fuel purchase. It's only your high school super shop, TK's Valero Store 18, Dean and Stage Road in Auburn.
Are you looking to take your business to the next level? Haley Red Development has affordable office spaces available in Auburn for businesses of any size. Call Haley Red and get your business started today. 821-8624. That's 821-8624.
Welcome back to Sports Call, presented by Always Money on this an apparently cloudy Friday afternoon. Looks like we're about to get some rain here at the studio, but a beautiful day nonetheless. It's always a beautiful day when you're doing what you enjoy doing. So, go out there and enjoy yourself today. Always Money, locations all across the Southeast. If you find yourself in need of some cash, it's not seldom, it's not often, it's not sometimes, it's always money. I'm telling, and hey, if you need money, that is the place to go. As we said earlier, your calls always come first. We'll go back to the phone lines.
Luke in Alex City, you're on Sports Call.
Hey guys, how are y'all today?
What's going on, man?
Mention his name and he appears.
There he is.
I didn't know I was mentioned. I like it. What was I mentioned in reference to?
It was derogatory, and you don't want to know.
Probably not. Well, I mean, that's the only way I know to be mentioned. So, in fact, that's what I was going to say. Y'all are advertising for Always Money. I'm seldom money.
I think we can all be grouped into that category.
Well, I'll tell you, today probably kept Alabama from having one of the better weeks athletically after the golf team wins the national championship, and that was a lot of fun to watch. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch any of it, or probably had no cause to, but it was a lot of fun to watch. That Alabama golf team is something else. I mean, they've got some future heavy hitters in that crowd. I mean, there's some guys that are going to win some major tournaments on that team, and they've got some seniors obviously that are going to be leaving, but they'll be good for the next couple of years. And then, of course, the softball team wins last night. They come back and defeat Oklahoma. I'm not going to call it revenge for the Sugar Bowl, but I'll say at least it felt a little bit sweet to get that win. And they get a commitment out of Keaton Anderson out of Florence, who he's a good player. He's a good, solid player. I mean, I think a lot of Alabama fans, are happy to have him, but he's not necessarily the 4- and 5-star kids they've used to getting lately. But I will tell everybody this, that he was coached at least for some time by Jamie Dubose, who we've had on several of our different shows. He's called a game with me before. He's a fantastic guy, an even better coach. And so, I mean, he's been taught really well. But, of course, then today happens, and the Alabama baseball team goes out and loses to Kennesaw State 1-0. And I know Kennesaw State's better than what their name sounds like, and I know they've probably got some future major leaguers on that team, potentially, whatever. I don't think Alabama should be losing to Kennesaw State in the NCAA tournament. I dang sure don't think they should be shut out by Kennesaw State, which is exactly what happened in 5 straight innings and couldn't get anybody, or at least men on base in 5 straight innings. They couldn't get anybody home. There's just no excuse for that. And to me, it's still a problem with the top at Alabama, the managerial position. I just think Alabama's got a problem right there with Mitch Gaspard, and the problem is it's almost like Anthony Grant, that he's done enough to not get on the hot seat, but he hadn't done enough to make anybody really want him. So it's not been an issue about whether or not he's going to leave your program. It's more about, how mediocre do you want to be? And I think as long as Mitch Gaspard's there, Alabama's going to be mediocre.
We've seen Alabama fizzle coming down the stretch, and they had a pretty good start to the conference season, very similar to what Auburn had. And, Auburn couldn't get over the hump against Missouri, and then Alabama, had worked their way up into the top 15 of the country, and then they just steadily failed the rest of the way. And, we've talked about it. We wondered if it was smoke and mirrors with Mitch Gaspard, and I think we all know that it probably has. Now, we don't know how this is going to end up, but, they definitely put themselves behind the 8 ball now, losing. Unable to push runs across the board and or across the plate, and to lose 1-0 to Kennesaw State. And I don't know who pitched for Kennesaw State. Obviously, it was an outstanding performance. But you're right, Luke. An SEC school, you got to be able to beat those teams that you're supposed to win. I mean, you're the 2 seed, they're the 3 seed. It's you and Florida State that you should be playing for that regional championship, and Alabama's going to have to fight a long, hard battle now just to get back there.
In the end, it's probably 6-1, half dozen and another, because Alabama probably wasn't going to beat Florida State tomorrow, so they'd probably be in the losers bracket anyway. But you just hate to see it. I mean, it's a shame, especially when there was so much positive momentum around the whole athletic department. I mean, Alabama's gotten a lot of praise for football, and Nick Saban gets a lot of credit. for the football team, but he's done a lot to change the whole atmosphere and the whole athletic program in Alabama. And there have been national championships in different sports, and most teams have grown to national prominence since Saban has been there. And I think a lot of it has to do with, it all feeds off your main program, your football program. If your football program starts doing well and gets a good mentality about it, I think that the rest of the programs can feed off of that, because it all depends. I mean, that's the whole mood of the fan base. If the football program is doing well, everybody's happy. If the football program's not doing well, nobody's happy. I mean, it's great. You know, if Alabama golf wins a national championship and the football program stinks, it doesn't get near the publicity, I don't think. So it's great, though, that the golf team is doing well. The women's golf team's a lot better. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like the ancillary sports equal football, even combined equal football. But, you know, if Alabama's going to be in the tournaments, I want them to win it, and I darn sure don't want them to lose to Kennesaw State.
Well, if you're going to compete, and again, it's not on the level of football, but if you're going to compete in a sport, you definitely want your school to win, and I think everybody feels that way. Luke, we appreciate your call, okay?
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks so much. That's our very own Luke Robinson there. He is our lone Crimson Tide proponent there, but covers the Crimson
voice crying in the wilderness.
There he is. But you know, he's right. Alabama's had an extremely good week.
He left out the doubles team winning the national championship.
That's exactly right, and he slided the tennis program there. But you know, I think he made a point that is very correct, and I think you're starting to see it at Auburn now. I mean, when the football program is on top and it's stable, it's not smoke and mirrors. It's a stable program, and I think it's safe to say, I know Gus Malzahn will be there 1 year as the head coach, but I think everybody feels like with his recruiting efforts, the coaching, it's not going to change. It's not going to fall off drastically for sure. It's going to have some stability in your main revenue-generating program. Obviously, you've seen what happens when you hire a great softball coach in Clint Meyer. Auburn enjoyed a tremendous success there. Softball is at the top of the heap more than it's ever been since the inception of the program. Look at Bruce Pearl coming in. Now on the basketball side, there's just a lot of positive energy around everything. Look at the women's doubles combo at Auburn that got put out by Georgia that played Alabama in the finals, and Alabama eventually won, but Auburn was right there. Auburn was one play away from being in a super regional in softball. Alabama and Auburn very similar in baseball right now. Can't get over the hump. I know Alabama does at least make it to a regional, but they haven't played very well in a month or so. And you know, so they've kind of been just going off of what they did earlier in the season and benefiting from what they did in the season. So, but I think he makes a great point there.
Yeah, trickle-down economics. You know, that's what it comes all from the top, and Alabama is enjoying that. You know, they've been good for about 5 or 6, 7 years now. Hopefully Auburn can sustain this success with Gus Malzahn, and the same thing you'll see happening at Auburn.
Was that your Reaganism?
That's it right there. And you, speaking of softball, you know, junior Brandy Malero, sophomore Emily Carasoni, and freshman Casey Cooper were named to NFCA All-American teams, first, second, and third team. Brandy Malero, the very first Auburn player to be elected a first-team All-American. You know, Auburn tied with Washington, Oregon, and Notre Dame with the most All-Americans in the nation. Something very to be proud of. And this team, all of them coming back. This team next year is going to be something to be dealt with. Damian Craig, Auburn's co-offensive coordinator and receivers coach, was elected to the Mobile High School Football Hall of Fame, Mobile Sports Hall of Fame. This is, you know, he joins Hank Aaron, Willie McCovey, Satchel Paige, Vince Dooley, Ed Dice. So very prestigious.
Pretty good company.
He was very, you know, overcome with emotion. You could tell how much it meant to him. Congratulations to Damian. He absolutely deserves it. We're going to catch up with a former Auburn Tiger great player in the next segment. I'm going to tell you that he played in the early 1980s. He was a member of the 1983 SEC champion, hopefully soon to be official national champion.
We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
But we're going to catch up with him in the next segment. We got to get to our next break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more from this Sports Call, brought to you by Always Money.
Ever wondered what LNG can do for you? The possibilities are endless.
LNG offers custom apparel and promotional products, any type of signage and vehicle wraps, web design and internet marketing, video production, paper products, and more. Visit us online at leemarketing.net. 3 locations to best serve you: Madison Street in Alexander City, Highway 280 in Dadeville, and Frederick Road in Auburn. LMG, success by design.
So, you're a business owner in need of durable, comfortable work uniforms and hats. Or maybe your high school won the section championship and you want to celebrate with custom t-shirts. Or perhaps you'd like matching tees and hats for your family reunions barbecue. At Lee Apparel, we offer you a full-service production facility right here in Central Alabama. From design to printing, every aspect of your order is taken care of here with real people. Find out more at leeapparel.com or call us at 888-533-6758.
With over 40 years of combined experience, SignSource is the premier sign supplier for Central Alabama. From illuminated and monument signs for your business, to banners, car wraps, or political yard signs for the individual, SignSource can do it all. We specialize in designing sign concepts that get results. Contact us today at 256-825-0197 or on the web at signsourcenow.com. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
There's no doubt that high school and college athletics rule the state of Alabama. Increase exposure for your business by spending your advertising dollars on the best sports programming in Alabama with SportsLit, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network. In a sports-hungry state like Alabama, SportsLit, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network will offer your business the best return on investment. We have packages designed to fit any budget. Call today 256-794-8223.
Looking for the most comprehensive sports show in Alabama? Catch Sports Blitz live from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Join Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson as they discuss the latest in high school, collegiate, and nationwide athletics. Tune in to FM Talk 95.9, watch live on ACN Charter Channel 80, or catch the live stream at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Sports Blitz Live, Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m.
Remove the hard work and confusion from growing your business with brand management and growth through Lee Marketing Group. LMG offers logo design, web development, search engine optimization, social media management, and more. Physical and virtual marketing is an amazing tool businesses need to utilize in today's economy. Stay ahead of your competition and reach new customers. Contact us today, 888-533-6758, or visit us online at leemarketing.net to learn more.
Little Cheaper says it's the final days of the invoice sale at the Carl Gregory family of dealerships. Prices so low you have to see it to believe it. For a limited time, the Carl Gregory dealerships in Columbus will show you the factory invoice so you can see your savings. That's right, come into any one of the Carl Gregory stores in Columbus. Shop hundreds of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Hyundai, Fiat, even Volkswagen vehicles. Pick the car you want and we'll show you the factory invoice so you can see the savings. Plus, you get to keep the rebates. No haggling, no hassles, no hidden fees or different prices. You have the invoice. You have the savings. And Carl Gregory has the vehicles. Don't leave another dealer and feel like you got a pretty good deal. No, you got the best deal possible when you pay the invoice price and not a penny more during the final days of the invoice sale. Happening now at your locally owned family of dealerships. Carl Gregory. Don't miss out. Come shop today for your new Hyundai, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Volkswagen, or Fiat. Come see us today on Victory Drive or at the North Lake Auto Complex.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Call, presented by Always Money. My name is Andy Graham, here with you for the next hour and a half, taking your calls and talking about everything topical in the world of sports. We're going to pick your phone calls up in our next segment, but right now we're going to welcome in a very special guest, former Auburn cornerback and great David King. Hey, David, are you with us?
Yes, Andy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for having me. And I want to tell Justin, as I told Justin, thanks for calling. It's really great that somebody remembered who I was because I played before the internet came. So it's really nice to be called upon.
Well, as far as I can tell, and from my research, now I was younger. I'm 38 years old, so I was probably in about first or second grade. Back in '83. But you were a 3-time All-SEC cornerback. Played on that '83 team. What year was your senior year?
It would have been 84.
Okay.
1984.
Okay. Now, first of all, just bring us up to date on what you've been up to these days, how your health is, what you do with yourself.
Well, I moved from Chicago here to Auburn to make my home. I graduated finally from Auburn in 2010, and I decided to get into the business of automobiles. I work for a company, SCA, that builds the plastic components for the Kia and Hyundai vehicles that reduce the noise and the vibration. And so my home is Auburn. I'm in great health. My buddies at work can't believe that I'm 51. Now, they often think I'm 32, and I don't change that. But I feel great. I'm loving it. I do have a 1-year-old child, believe it or not, and my girlfriend actually just turned 40. So I'm loving life here in Auburn. Love the people in Auburn, and it's been going great.
That's outstanding. Now, doing some research about this, I came across an article in Sports Illustrated in 1983, written by Jack McCallum. I wonder if you can help me out with it a little bit here, okay? So just bear with me. The article says, it's a shame that this Auburn team came together in the year of the Cornhusker because the Tigers are tough and talented enough to win the national championship themselves. Well, perhaps next season. Auburn has a jazz dancer at cornerback, a whiz kid at linebacker, and as many as 6 future pros on the defensive line. Now, it goes on to talk about the Auburn-Georgia game, which obviously Auburn won 13-7. And then it says, words of praise are nevertheless in order for Coach Vince Dooley and his Bulldogs. I still consider Georgia the number 4 team in the country, said cornerback David King, the Tigers' gift to Auburn's dance theater. Now, what can you explain this to me?
Yes, Andy. I took up dance first and foremost, to be honest with you, because my roommate Jimmy Warren told me that there's a lot of pretty girls dancing. And then secondly, what we were doing in 1982, we wanted to get better at our footwork and our speed. And I read an article about Len Swan dancing, what that did for him. So I got involved and began to learn about jazz, modern dance, and really the instructor taught me about Russian ballet, which taught me how to move, laterally forward and backward as I jumped. And so that's how that came about. I spoke highly of the dance because it really increased my speed. I went from running consistently 4.4s, but at times I went 4.3, and my vertical would go from 35 to 40, all because of the dancing. And many of my buddies on the team, even Bo Jackson, couldn't believe I danced until they came to one of the recitals. And believe it or not, there's a group in New York, like they say they're from Juilliard, that offered me a scholarship to come and dance up there in New York. But I had to tell them that it would be difficult for me to tell my mom and my dad and Coach Dye that I'm going to quit football to become a dancer. So that dancing changed my life. Really, it helped me improve my athletics as a football player at Auburn.
Well, first of all, because there's pretty girls there, it's the best excuse to do anything. And secondly, does that mean that we're going to see you on Dancing with the Stars at some point?
No. Well, no, sir. I did apply one time, but I'm not a big star as the big stars there. I don't guess they take local people. I try to explain that I did play, and I played in the NFL, but they wanted current stars, bigger names. So what I do now, I still, like I said, I work out. Part of my workout, I do some bar work to continue to work on my ankles and the legs, things like that, and my balance as I've gotten older.
Now, you did go on to play in the NFL. Just talk about that a little bit and your experiences there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately for me, I got hurt my senior year, and I did recover, but those injuries kept plaguing me. And I didn't get a chance to really play. I was at San Diego and Green Bay where I really played. The other teams that I was in camp with was Denver, Houston, and for a spout in Detroit. But unfortunately for me, right before the week of making the team, I would get hurt. And that just nailed my career. So I mingled around for 5 years in the league, but really only played with San Diego and Green Bay. And that was a lot of fun. I got a chance to meet some of my idols like Everson Walls and Dennis Thurman. In fact, one time during a game, I was offside because I was so excited just to see them, knowing that they were just on my wall at Auburn at Sewell Hall. So I had a great career, glad to be in the NFL, but I was very sad that my whole career was plagued by injuries.
We've got David King, former Auburn great cornerback in the early 80s, joining us here on Sports Call this afternoon. Now, David, you played on the 1983 championship team. Obviously, it was an incredible season. That season has kind of been the talk here lately about, is it a national championship? Should Auburn claim it for a national championship? All these different questions. But, what games stand out to you the most that season?
Actually, the Texas game, the one we lost, stood out to me because that was the turning point for us. Because honestly, the next day, Coach Dye ran us into the ground. In fact, every single day to the next week, saying that we will never lose again. And that game changed around to lead us on to beat Alabama for the second time, which was phenomenal in itself because Coach Bryant is so awesome. The tradition of Alabama is so great. But for us to beat them twice was great. So the Texas game, I say, stand out because it really exposed our weaknesses on where we need to be as a team. And Coach Dye came out like a monster, man, on Sunday. Normally we used to rest on Sunday. We were practicing on Sunday. So like I said again, that the Texas game is the one game that stands out the most for me.
Well, there is talk. Auburn has kind of not officially but sort of claimed 1983 as a national championship because the NCAA does recognize it as a national championship. And from what I understand now, Jay Jacobs is forming a committee, and they are going to, at least explore the possibility of officially claiming these championships. So, for a guy that played on that team, is it enough for you that the New York Times declared you national champions, or do you want Auburn to go even further and officially claim it and celebrate it?
Yes, all the above what you just said, because honestly, that year in '83. We felt and we knew that we were national champions. They gave it to Miami just because Miami beat Nebraska. And we were very disappointed about that because we knew our strength of schedule was greater than Miami and equal to Nebraska. In fact, even in some respect, greater than Nebraska. So, yes, I would love for them to celebrate it, have a ceremony, and then hand out national championship rings. I would love for that to happen. Or even if the rings up in the ceremony don't happen, but at least have a ceremony with all of us back from the '83 team to acknowledge, and then put us in the right place on the stadium, showing all our Auburn family that we did win that national championship in 1983.
I know that there was a get together or a reunion for that 1983 team last year, and I had Terry Henley on, who played on the '72 team. And he talked about the closeness of that team and talked about, how they are still close to this day. And from all the comments and everything from the reunion of that '83 team, there was a closeness from that team as well. And can you just kind of elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. When Coach Dye got there in 1981, we met them in August 10th or 8th in my class. He constantly communicated about family, that we were going to be a family and a team in order to turn Auburn around. And so every single year, every class that came in, that's what he preached, and he followed through on that with going so far, having us to meet on Sundays and for family gatherings, go over. Some people have to have barbecues and things like that. So the closeness came there simply because Coach Dye was driving family. He talked about how Coach Bryant and his success, how he built family out of the teams of Alabama in order to win. So he wanted to do the same there. I met so many. I became so many extra. I got so many extra mothers because of that. From that. But that was a big deal in 1983 for us. I'm sorry, from 1981 to the time I left. Coach Dye communicated it's important to be family.
Well, David, obviously you live in Auburn now, you said. Do you keep up with the football team now, and what's your impression of the Gus Malzahn era so far?
Man, I love it. I love it. Yes, I keep up with the football team. I'm mostly preaching academics. Now, I do want to win football games, but I'm also preaching making sure that athletes graduate from college. Coach Malzahn is doing a phenomenal job. He reminds me a lot of Coach Dye. He comes in. He came in and set a precedent. He said, "You're going to win if you follow my process." He fostered team. He's fostering discipline, and you can see the results of that. Much like Coach Dye did in 1981, when I watched Coach Dye get rid of at least 30 or 40 players in 1 week. He didn't want to get on board with the program. And I see that Coach Malzahn is sort of doing the same thing, has done the same thing in order for us to win. So I love watching football here, going to the football game, not being concerned that I have to put on a helmet and shoulder pads to go out there, And I love it. I love living in Auburn. I love the fact that Coach Malzahn has put us, Auburn, Alabama, back on the map.
Well, the 1-year-old, I'm surprised you have time to do anything.
She loves football. I take her to Buffalo Wild Wings when sometimes I can't make it to the game. She loves it. I'm teaching her how to sing the fight song. And her mother is very tired of me singing that fight song. But she's a sweetie pie. She's 13 months now. Symphony King is her name, and she's doing a phenomenal job. And I told the mother that my girlfriend that she's going to go to Auburn regardless. She's not going to leave this city or this state.
Raise them right. I appreciate that, David King, former cornerback for Auburn in 1981 to 1984. We can't thank you enough for catching up with us today and let us know what your opinions are and what you're up to. We just appreciate you so much being on Sports Call with us.
Okay, Andy, thank you so much, and congratulations on your new show. I will tune in often and listen often.
Thank you
again for having me.
Thank you so much. We're going to go to our next break, but stay with us. There's more to come on Sports Call, brought to you by Always Money.
Hi, I'm Pat Dye. I'd like to tell you why I've been a Ware Jewelers customer for more than 30 years. I like the people, I like the jewelry, and I like the prices. Ware Jewelers has been perfecting what they do since 1946. Their quality is great. They treat each and every customer like a close friend. This is Coach Dye, and in football I like the Tigers. In jewelry, my choice is Ware Jewelers. Ware Jewelers, Auburn, Opelika, Montgomery, and Spanish Fort.
All right, guys, bring it in. Listen up. I want to talk about last night. Yes, sir. Maybe you had your friends over, huh? Cracked open some icy cold.
I turned it down a little bit because it was peaking.
Okay.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hey. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Hello. Now that sounds better. Yeah. I don't know. It sounded muffled a while. I mean.
Hey, check 1 2. Check 1 2. These things can, how they are. Oh, it feels good right here.
I think that was on the whole time.
Yeah, that's okay. And Randy said it still sounded good. So.
Yeah.
Did you see that on the World Cup? There's a paralyzed guy that's coming out during the first game. I guess I don't know if he's built it or somebody else has built it, an exoskeleton, where he's able to walk with his brain out onto the field, and he's gonna like kick the ball.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. We got to get you one.
Yeah. If you got a bell, I need to buy the Clippers. And if I had that kind of money,
That's pretty awesome, though.
that is cool. Yeah. It's Iron Man, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta watch the opening match now.
Yeah.
If you're heading to a party, having a party, or on your way home from a party, TK's convenience stores are guaranteed to have everything you need. Drinks, chips, and a case or two of your favorite cold refreshment should do the trick, right? You don't need to take time out of your nights and weekends to find a parking spot, locate what you need, and then wait in line forever. TK's believes fun should happen much more quickly. Not to mention you can fill up your tank while you're there too. TK's convenience stores, always there when you need us.
It's true. Big Blue Bookstore stocks Auburn's best selection of textbooks and sweetens the deal with a low price guarantee. But wait, there's more. How about a full-service post office inside the store? Don't waste hours and hours standing in the world's slowest line way on the other side of town. Multitask. Big Blue's collection of Auburn merchandise covers all your bases. AU apparel, gifts, home and auto decor, even stuff for your War Eagle pet. Well, looky there. Now you've got gifts for friends and family, and hey, there's a post office to ship them. Go Big Blue. The Big Blue Bookstore. Winn-Dixie Shopping Center on South College.
There's nothing like the signature honey glazed spiral sliced ham from Honey Baked. Hey, this is Crystal. From catering corporate meetings to providing boxed lunches for your next event, Honey Baked Ham is just what you're looking for, including full meals with sides and desserts. Don't forget to stop by our deli for lunch or dinner, open 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday. You don't have to wait for the holidays. Plan your Honey Baked feast today. Give us a call at 741-8411, stop by and see us on Gateway Drive in Opelika, or order online at myhoneybakedstore.com. Honey Baked Ham, perfect every time. We guarantee it.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Sports Call on this beautiful, wet, rainy, and cloudy Friday afternoon. Sports Call is brought to you by Always Money. Brett, a lot going on right now. The NCAA tournament regionals are well underway. You were going to update us a while ago. We got sidetracked, so go ahead and give us a rundown of what's going on.
Yeah, well, a lot of these scores have changed since since about 45 minutes ago, but still a few games underway right now. It's Sam Houston State winning 2-1 over Dallas Baptist. Texas laying it on Texas A&M 7-1 right now. That's in the fifth inning, so Texas A&M struggling to produce any runs against Texas. Arizona State and Pepperdine tied. Actually, Pepperdine up 3-2 now into the sixth, and then UNLV and UC Irvine tied at 2. And then that LSU game was 4-1 in favor of Southeast Louisiana, and LSU came back to win that game 8-4. So that was the game I was alluding to from earlier, and it was 4-1 in the seventh for Southeast Louisiana, but they were able to come back, LSU was, and win that game in convincing fashion. So enough playing around, LSU said. Of course, we just mentioned that Alabama lost 1-0 to Kennesaw State. Oregon had no problem with Clemson 18-1 there. That's uncharacteristic for a Clemson team. But this Oregon in every sport just seems to be on fire right now, as Luke said earlier. In the program, Cal State Fullerton defeats Nebraska 5-1, Maryland 4-3 over Old Dominion. Stanford gets a win in the first game of the regional over Indiana State 8-1. Texas Tech escapes 3-2 over Columbia, and Virginia wins 10-1 over Bucknell. Mississippi State with a 5-2 win earlier today over San Diego State. Kansas and Kentucky are in a delay in the seventh inning, I believe, and they're tied at 6-6. And as I mentioned, LSU defeats Southeastern Louisiana 8-4 there. So that's your rundown of the NCAA regionals that have played and the ones that are in action right now.
This segment being brought to you by Resource Natural Spring Water. Resource is 100% natural spring water with naturally occurring electrolytes that support a lifestyle of well-being. When you're needing to refresh, revitalize, and replenish, it is always Resource Natural Spring Water. Brett, that's good stuff. When your thirst is sometimes when you're out there on a really hot day, water is the only thing that'll quench your thirst.
That's it.
Natural spring water is the way to go.
The way to go.
The SEC had another honor bestowed upon it, the National Player of the Year announced. That was Kentucky's A.J. Reed. Now, this guy, I don't guess I kept up with Kentucky enough because his stats are pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's the first player, I believe, in Kentucky history to be elected National Player of the Year. The SEC's had actually 13 players to have that award. Tim Hudson from Auburn won it in 1997. But A.J. Reed leads the college baseball in home runs, 23. I thought you couldn't hit home runs with these bats. Leads, the all of college baseball in slugging at 767. Leads all of baseball in OPS at 1.259. Holy cow. He's the RBI leader in the SEC. He's the on-base leader, 491. And by the way, he's got 11 wins as a pitcher.
That is you're right. I mean, obviously, you and I didn't know as much about him as we would have liked to. Kentucky wasn't that high-profile team during the year. Now, they're playing great baseball coming down the stretch when it matters. But you would think you would hear more about a guy like him other than what we've heard. So, I mean, you just haven't seen his name or heard much about him.
That's true. Like I said earlier, the SEC Softball World Series is underway. The 3 teams from the SEC all won yesterday. Florida defeated Baylor 11-0. Kentucky defeated Louisiana Lafayette 4-1. Alabama defeated Oklahoma 6-2. And Oregon, the number 1 overall seed in the country, defeated Florida State 3-0. So tonight you'll have the winners bracket will continue. Alabama will place Kentucky, I believe, at 8:30, and Florida will face Oregon, I believe, at 6, both those games being on ESPN2. So SEC just all over the sports landscape. You can't run away from it.
No, you can. Andy, when we come back from the bottom of the top of the hour break, what we're going to do, I want to talk about this committee that Jay Jacobs is planning on forming. He does come out and say Auburn is going to form a committee to discuss claiming more national titles. Now, I know we've talked about that on this show a bunch over the last month, but now Jay Jacobs comes out and addresses and some other additional years thrown in there. So now I'll give you what he said about that as well.
I look forward to it. The Fox Sports Report is coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the other side of this break with more from Sportscall, presented by Always Money.
Looking for one of the best ways to market your business effectively? Advertise with R&B Media through Sports Blitz, Sports Call, and the AHSA radio network. High school and college athletics are king in Alabama, and consumers of media that center around this subject are steadily on the rise. Get the best of both worlds, radio and TV sports talk throughout the state of Alabama. To learn more, contact us today at 256-794-8223.
Before the big game on Saturday, tune in to Saturday Sports Countdown on FM Talk 95.9 from 10 a.m. to noon. Luke Robinson, Randy Lee, and Brett Pritchard break down the day's biggest games and keep you up to date on the latest from the sports world. Call the guys at 256-234-6464 and watch live at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Saturday Sports Countdown, 10 a.m. to noon on FM Talk 95.9.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due. It's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfit, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band. She needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm. He needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So stop by or visit alwaysmoney.com. How much can we loan you today? Borrowers often use payday loans over a period of months, which can be expensive.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn-Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-67.
You're listening to Sports Call on Tiger 93.9, WTGZ, Union Springs, Montgomery, and Auburn, and AM 620 WTRP, LaGrange.
Fox Sports trending now.
Live from Los Angeles, I'm Tom Looney. Slaving over a hot microphone, Fox Sports Radio has learned that Donald Sterling is planning to sue the NBA after they forced him to relinquish ownership of the Clippers. Sterling will file a lawsuit with damages in excess of $1 billion with a B. Apparently, Steve Kerr left the New York Knicks at the altar. That's what Phil Jackson says, and he's president of the Knicks. A president wouldn't lie. Phil said that Steve Kerr verbally committed to coaching the Knicks, and then the very next day double-crossed him and signed on to be coach of the Golden State Warriors. Double-crossed my words, not his. And at the French Open, Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer have both advanced into the next round. And I am Looney.
Auburn Bank has money to lend because you have financial goals, a home to buy, kids to raise, a business to grow, your children's education to pay for. For what matters most to you in your life, our experienced, willing lenders are ready to help you achieve your goals. Auburn Bank, since 1907, your partner, your neighbor, your friend. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Online at auburnbank.com.
Hey, ladies, you don't have to spend a fortune to look like $1 million when you work out at Tiger Iron Gym. No matter what your fitness needs, Tiger Iron Gym has you covered with ellipticals, treadmills, and arc trainers for cardio workouts, and free weights, and power racks to build and tone muscle. Looking for a high-energy group workout? Try a Zumba or cross-train class. Right now, women can join for only $5 through May 31st. Tiger Iron Gym, 24/7, 365 days a year. Next to Big Blue Bookstore in South College. Remember, no matter how slow you go, you're still laughing everyone on the couch.
Pepsi Wild Cherry.
It's so explosively effervescent. It's like a...
Oh, it's like a cherry fire hydrant blasting a block party with bubbly deliciousness. Pepsi Wild Cherry.
Pepsi Wild Cherry is so explosively refreshing. It's like...
Oh, a cherry stick of dynamite detonating your taste buds one by one.
Pepsi Wild Cherry is so explosively lip-smacking, it's like...
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of like a cherry fireworks display bursting with flavor and making people's mouths go, ooh, ah!
Pepsi Wild Cherry, it's so explosively poplicious, it's like...
Oh, a wild water park ride plunging you into pure, uncontrollable cherryosity.
Pepsi Wild Cherry.
It's so cherry.
So cherry. It's explosively cherry.
In today's competitive environment, time is money. Allegra Printing in Auburn has the fastest turnaround with their state-of-the-art all-digital printing equipment. Allegra delivers with speed, precision, and quality every time. And their outside sales reps will help you from start to finish, so you don't even have to leave your office. From simple to sophisticated, turn to Allegra, East Alabama's go-to print company for more than 25 years. Visit them in Auburn at 1625 East University Drive or call 887-3180. Allegra Printing. Quality service, expert solutions, professional results.
Auburn Links is proud to honor the people who keep us safe, the men and women of the military, and the police, fire, and EMTs of Lee County. To show their thanks, Auburn Links is offering you special discounts. Just show your ID, and you'll get 18 holes of the best golf around for just $25 anytime. That's right, members of the military, along with police, fire, and EMTs of Lee County, 18 holes for just $25. Auburn Links wants to thank you for what you do with a great round of golf. Auburn Links, off exit 51. Call 887-5151.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch.
From Tiger Communications.
Jackson, touchdown!
For 20 years, East Alabama's sports talk leader.
Swing and drive! Johnson right!
Sports Call.
Oh, what a dunk!
Call in now at 887-3401 locally. Or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free.
Strike him out!
And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Sports Call.
Hello out there, and welcome back to Sports Call, presented by Always Money. On this cloudy, rainy Friday afternoon, we've talked about quite a bit, a cornucopia of sports stories that we've hit. The Donald Sterling thing. Talked about a little bit about the baseball tournament, the softball tournament. Some good things about Auburn. Damian Craig going into the Mobile Sports Hall of Fame. 3 Auburn softball players, Brandy Malero, Casey Cooper, and Emily Carasoni, all being awarded All-America honors. Our question of the day was, should the SEC eliminate FCS games? That was a big thing with the SEC spring meetings, the talk of strength of schedule. As far as that's concerned, it seems like Auburn, or the NCAA, the SEC really, I guess, has kind of put Auburn in a corner. I mean, now that you've got Georgia and Alabama home or away, Auburn's got to go to Georgia. They got to go to Tuscaloosa. You're going to want a cupcake in between there. I mean, that's just the way that it is. You're not gonna have a tough game in there. They don't want to play those back to back. So I'm for not eliminating them. I think you need at least one.
Well, if you start, and maybe we're starting to see the first official move to get away and separate the powers that be in college football. I mean, we all have said this is on a fast track to a separation here, where you take the top 64 teams in the country and they split off and create their own super conferences. And you and I brought up a point off the air, and I thought you made a good point. What are these schools going to do when all the SEC and the Big 12 and the Big 10 and the Pac-12 are going to decide not to play them anymore? These schools rely on revenue from these bigger schools, and then when Florida goes, no, we're not going to play you anymore, and Auburn and Alabama go, no, we're going to stick to bigger name schools because it's going to affect our chance to get in the playoff. We know that. Then college football changes like we think it's going to, and I think we're headed down that path. And the autonomy of the bigger schools getting all the money and fighting for championships, all the ones out there that complained that Boise State, and that they were up there with a chance for national championships and the talk for national championships, and those out there that felt like that was bogus. Here we go. I mean, that's where we're moving to. So I don't think anybody is shocked about this, but I just think this is the first official sign that we're moving in that direction.
I am Andy Graham. The disembodied voice to my left is Brett Pritchard. Give us a call and let us know what you think about it. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free, or 1-334-887-3401 locally. Now, obviously, you brought up something during the break, very interesting. We've been talking about national championships, whether Auburn should claim them, whether they shouldn't claim them. It's been a big topic. It seems like everybody's got an opinion about it, even those people outside of the SEC, outside of the South, that really doesn't it really even pertain to. They have an opinion about it. But you said that Jay Jacobs is now forming a committee. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Athletic Director Jay Jacobs confirmed that Auburn would form a committee to discuss claiming these additional national championships. And, as we've gone over several times, Auburn officially claims 2, 57 in 2010, but the school will decide. Now, we since then talked about the verbiage change on the website with the NCAA. Auburn, the NCAA recognizes Auburn with this, okay? So now the school will decide whether it will claim titles in 1910, 1913, 1914, and, of course, the ones we've already discussed, 83, 93, and then 2004 will be up for debate as well. So, if that's the case, Auburn's going to be adding a lot more banners to the stadium, and it's very similar to what Alabama did several years ago when, they jumped up there and they added those retro championships to their display banners. And basically what Jay Jacobs said is this, and this is a direct quote: "We want to do what's best for Auburn regardless of what the rest of the world thinks or says. the things that I said about it back in January is the same I feel today. If other schools are counting championships a certain way, then we should count that same exact way. I think we've got to get to some place before we start the fall, or let's quit talking about it for a while. So I think they're on a fast track. So obviously the fall is only a couple months away before we start football. So they're going to form this committee, and they're going to look. And I'm with him. Either decide what you're going to do, or just move on. I mean, because the more this drags out, then probably the more it loses its credibility.
It took us about 5 minutes to decide. How long does it take?
So
I'm all for it. So, I bet you, and I know this.
Well, just do it.
David King is for it, and I bet you every other member of that 1983 team is for it.
Well, that's what my point was when we started talking about all this. And, there was an article out there from a USA Today writer saying that Auburn didn't win it in 93, and he gave all his reasons why. And he said if Auburn wanted to go back and claim 1913, so what? He said, oh, well, who cares? That was over 100 years ago. Well, that to me that is such a very futile argument and a statement there that, oh, it's been that long ago, who cares what happens, just claim it. I mean, down the line, 2010 will be 100 years old. And so are those people down the line going to say, well, whatever happened in 2010 we don't care about, it's 100 years ago? I mean, do we not care what happened in the Civil War? Do we not care what happened in World War I and World War II just because they're old now? I mean, that to me, that discredits what those people did and those families of those players. And I think that's a slap in their face just because you weren't around, or it was so long ago that you don't remember anything about it. If they fought and they played and they won and they're credited with, then we ought to recognize them. It's like you said, David King definitely is all in favor for it because he knows how hard he worked his tail off and the results that they got on the field that year. So look, go ahead and do what you got to do and make the claims, put them up there. People out there outside of your program is going to point fingers. They're going to laugh. They're going to say you're making stuff up. That's fine, but it'll die down. And at the end of the day, you'll be flying flags just like all these other schools.
Absolutely. And if there's any two teams that deserve a national championship, it's 1983 and 2004. Those teams were probably two of the better teams in Auburn history. They did everything that was asked of them. They played, everybody. They dominated the competition. And I mean,
2004 was just simply a victim of the system.
It was.
That's period.
But there is no national champion in 2004.
Yeah.
So
we didn't play for it.
Well, we won every game.
Well, that's it.
So that's
so fly a perfect season banner. And who cares? I mean, recognize the team. They did a lot. They accomplished a lot. Should they have gotten an opportunity to play for it? I feel like they could have. But the two teams in front of them were 1 and 2, and they didn't move. So I mean, that. And I'm not trying to be negative Nanny over here, but because I want to be able to fly the flag as much as anybody. But and in '83, Auburn did lose a game to Texas. And then, if you win all your games, then you don't have to worry about arguing about it. But there's so much gray area on all these championship seasons. We did it that day, Andy, on the show. Went on the NCAA's website. I mean, look at what Iowa claims. I mean, they claim one where only the Football Writers Association gave it to them. I mean, and they split it. So it's what you feel like you need to do for your program.
And Big Cat weekend, obviously, a huge recruiting weekend for Auburn. This weekend, they've decided, that Auburn marketing department has gotten better. They're doing something pretty neat here.
Oh, it's
you
awesome.
Showed me a picture of it. If you haven't, you can look it up on Facebook, I'm sure. Somewhere on the internet, just enlighten us.
You find any way you can to sell kids on something special. And, it's all about how you market your business out there in this world now, how you get out there. I know social media it's exploded. I mean, it's on fire. And that's one way that companies and businesses are able to do things. Well, when you bring kids in on a recruiting visit, it's all about your facilities. It's all about the bells and whistles and things that are going to make those kids' eyes light up. And how big is your jumbotron on your stadium now? How many seats does your stadium hold? How plush is your locker room? Does it have waterfalls in it now and spas where you can go in there and chill out? Do you have huge 60, 70-inch flat screen TVs with multiple PlayStation 3s and Xboxes and all that kind of stuff? So you find ways to get a cutting edge, So Auburn has something that nobody else has, and they've got the track of Chris Davis returning that kickoff, or that kick, not the kickoff, it's about like a kickoff, but the kick six all the way for a touchdown, painted on the field, his actual trek as he caught the ball in the back of the end zone, and there's a dotted line all the way on the field, his exact path that he took. And all of those recruits will go onto the turf at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and they'll get to see that memorable track that Chris Davis made that night against Alabama. So, yeah, I mean, it's amazing what you come up with and what people actually will go forward and do now.
Absolutely. Up against our first break of our second hour. We'll be back. There's more to come on this Sports Call presented by Always Money.
When you're looking for the best chicken fingers and wings in town, nothing else will hit the spot better than JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has everything you need to curb a big appetite, and they have all-you-can-eat chicken fingers on Monday night and all-you-can-eat wings on Tuesday night. Any child wearing their City League uniform eats for $1.99 on the kids menu. Check out our Facebook page daily for our dine-in special. Visit us at 145 Alabama Street in Alex City.
It's political season. Get the most exposure for your campaign through Lee Marketing Group. Yard signs, banners, decals, door hangers, postcards, business cards, video production, advertising, and more. Custom, professional, and engaging. Everything you need in one place. Contact us today. 888-533-6758. www.leemarketing.net. LMG. Success by design.
S&S Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the S&S Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. S&S Tire can handle it all. That's S&S Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit S&S Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in Dable, now in 2 locations.
Videos have always been the best way to teach, amaze, and amuse people. With the advent of YouTube, companies big and small are producing videos that sell, promote, and increase conversion rates. Videos engage your customers, meaning more visibility, more customers, and revenue for your business. How do you get your video to stand out amongst all those customers and garner the most attention? R&B Media Video Production. Find out more at www.rnbmedia.com.
Friday, July 25th at Strand Park in Alexander City, Alabama. It's Sun Festival, Alexander City's Band Battle. The area's best bands compete for a $1,000 grand prize, and the winning band opens for Diamond Rio on Saturday, July 26th at Sun Festival, Alexander City. If your band wants to be the next big thing, contact the Alexander City Chamber of Commerce through their website at alexandercitychamber.com or call 256-234-3461 or look up Sun Festival Alexander City on Facebook. Band Battle. Registration absolutely ends June 13th. This is your band's chance to be a part of Sun Festival Alexander City with a $1,000 grand prize and opening for Diamond Rio Saturday, July 26th. Band Battle at Strand Park in downtown Alexander City. All bands must register by June 13th and space is limited, so register now at alexandercitychamber.com or call 256-234-3461. Sponsored by Singleton Marine Group, part of Sun Festival, Alexander City.
Looking for the most comprehensive sports show in Alabama? Catch Sports Blitz live from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Join Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson as they discuss the latest in high school, collegiate, and nationwide athletics. Tune in to FM Talk 95.9, watch live on ACN Charter Channel 80, or catch the live stream at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Sports Blitz Live, Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call, presented by Always Money. My name is Andy Graham, alongside my partner, Brett Pritchard. We're going to go directly back to the phone line and pick up Randy.
Yeah, our very own Randy Lee. Randy, go ahead, buddy. You're on Sports Call.
How y'all doing this afternoon?
Man, we're doing great. What about you?
I'm doing great and enjoying listening into y'all this afternoon. And first off, I wanted to compliment David King. As the two of you know, my favorite segments of the program that we do is some type of history on old players, and I thought David King was outstanding. Y'all's thoughts, I love hearing about the 83 team. It was in my youth. I remember that team vividly, and talking about the national championships and how much that team would love to claim that national title. I just love the topic in general.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was a thrill to be able to talk to him. Obviously it says a lot that he came back and he makes his home in Auburn. That says how much he loves it here, and, everything about the environment. I like the way he talked about, Coach Dye and, what took place after that loss. You never hear a lot of people talk about that loss so much. They like to talk about the victories, but I'm sure that was a very, very long week. And he said he ran them to death. But that's the kind of thing you won't see a lot of coaches like Coach Dye left out there. But to handle a loss like that, to put that team through the ringer and said we will not lose again, and they did.
They did, and they had some players, tons of players that moved on to play in the pros. And again, thanks for David being on with us. But I wanted to bring up a topic. I haven't heard y'all talk about it today, but I know it's been talked about. Not only in the SEC country, but throughout the national media, and that's the topic of alcohol sales at SEC stadiums or college football stadiums in general. Just the two of y'all's thoughts on that topic, and it seems to be highly debated, and for good reason. I've heard some really good arguments both ways, so just interested to hear both of y'all's side on it.
Well, we literally just talked about that during the break, and here's my thoughts on it. I think Andy agrees with me, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are too. Look, tailgating has become a mainstay, and especially in the SEC, and it's no secret people are out there drinking all day leading up to the game. Look, put it down going into the stadium. I mean, if you can't go 3 hours without a cold beer, then maybe you've got some other issues you need to deal with. That's just my personal opinion. I know there can be other revenue gained, and there's other things that can benefit, but just my personal take on it is just keep it out of the stadium, and you can lay off of it for 3 hours, Andy.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm there, week in, week out, and there's already enough bad behavior going on. You don't want to add to the mix. Like you said, would it keep people from drinking before the game? No, it would not. They're going to do that anyway, and they're going to drink after the game. So it gives them a little time to sober up, and that's probably a good thing.
And the unique topic about this is the thought behind keeping the students involved and trying to get more students. And I don't think it's as big a problem at Auburn, or at least I haven't noticed it being as big a problem at Auburn. But going back to the FCS games, and there's some other reasons that they feel like the students have fallen off and aren't attending as many games. But that is one of the topics that are brought up. I'm not passionate one way or the other on this, but it seems like a lot are. So I just wanted to bring it up and get y'all talking about it and see if there's anybody out there listening that is a little more passionate than the three of us are. Thanks. I appreciate y'all talking this afternoon.
Thanks, Randy. We appreciate it. And, it's a good topic. And, look, if we're having to entice students to come to the game with alcohol, then we've lost touch. I mean, and I'm just saying that. I mean, you ought to want to look. Bottom line, dude. Look, I buy season tickets, and I know Nick Saban brought up a big point, and he called out the student section last year, and it opened up another debate. But I buy those tickets. If I want to get up in the middle of the third quarter and go home, I'm going to go home. I mean, doesn't mean that I don't support my team, but it's 60-0. And what am I watching? What are we doing? And it's a good thing. I'm glad we're up 60-0. But if you want to stay the whole time, then that's your prerogative too. But don't tell me as a grown person what I have to do and what I can't do. And if the students want to come, for half and then leave, that's their deal. And I mean, I don't know how else to force them. Why are you trying to force somebody to stay in the stadium?
That's a good question. Hey, if you're concerned about students not showing up to begin with, lower ticket prices. Oh no, we can't do that.
Well, I thought there was a shortage on being able to get. I mean, there already is a lottery to be able to get the tickets anyway. So I don't understand what the problem is.
I don't think these are problems for Auburn and Alabama. These obviously are problems for maybe Vandy. Maybe Ole Miss is having these problems. I'm not sure.
How about the culture of your program? I mean, start there. If you're bringing that up, but I am going back to what Nick Saban did last year is when he got disgruntled because he felt like he said, well, the players have to stay 60 minutes. The students, no, it's completely different. They're on the team playing for that team and that university. The people in the stands are there as spectators. They can choose to come and go as they please. And, a lot of Alabama fans that were paying fans took offense to that. And, I mean, he ended up coming back and saying that's not what he meant and all this. He just wanted the players to feel like they're supported. Look, I think those guys feel supported. Against LSU, when the game's on the line, there's 2 minutes to go, that place is packed and it's loud. But when you're playing a non-conference opponent and you're up 45 points with 7-8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, some people would want to get a head start. That's just it.
The difference is the players are being paid to be there by scholarship and soon to be by full cost of attendance.
There you go.
The fans are paying to be there. So that's the big difference.
That's exactly what some of the patrons were saying is that, look, I'm paying this. Don't chastise me and tell me what I need to do and that I've got to be a prisoner and sit there in my seat for 4 quarters. If I decide I want to get up after kickoff and leave, I will.
I wonder if this, to Randy's question, is this going to be, I mean, would it always be a uniform decision for the SEC, or would it end up being, well, you do what you think is best? Would you have different stadiums across the SEC? One might serve alcohol, one might not. Would it ever be that way?
I don't know. I heard Georgia's athletic director just yesterday comment on this, and, he feels the same way I do. I mean, he really does. He said, look, I mean, tailgating is a staple in college football, and people are free to pretty much do what they want to do. But when they walk in, he said, look, there was a pushback when we decided to do away with no smoking. He said there was a little small pushback, but then eventually everybody was okay with it, because it just became accepted. That was the rule. If you don't like the rule, then go somewhere else. And look, it's not going to keep people from coming to the football games. It's just a decision on whether schools want to go down that path of entertaining, serving alcoholic beverages in the stadium. I know they do in bowl games. I know it changes when you do that, but on campus, it's been a different rule. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I just think that there's plenty of time for that before and after. Lay off for a couple hours.
This segment brought to you by Carl Gregory. If you're interested in a new Jeep, Ram, Dodge, or Chrysler model or used car and live in Auburn, Opelika, or LaGrange, you're in luck. Great deals going on now for every make and model. Visit your locally owned dealer. Carl Gregory, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Rams, 2 giant locations, Victory Drive or the North Lake Auto Complex in Columbus. In our next segment, we're going to invite in Keith Niebuhr from 24/7 Sports, Auburn Undercover. He does an outstanding job with the recruiting. We're going to talk about Big Cat Weekend when we come back with more on this Sports Call presented by Always Money.
Stop by your local TK's convenience store where Resource Natural Spring Water 700 milliliter bottles are buy one, get one free. Resource is a 100% natural spring water with naturally occurring electrolytes for taste. It's good for you and mindful of the environment thanks to a bottle made with 50% recycled plastic. So visit your local TK's convenience store to refresh, revitalize, and replenish with a special buy one, get one free offer on Resource Spring Water. Offer valid 5/1 through 6/30/2014. Excludes label and cap. Recycling facilities may not be available in your area.
Gotta get the deal. Deals Auto Sales. We can finance you. Got to get the deal. East Alabama, we're here to say a new Gills location is on the way. 28 years of doing what we do. Serving your friends, family, and you. Hurry on down and don't be late. We're at Opelika Exit 58. Gotta get the Gills. Gills Auto Sales. We can finance you. Got to get the Gills. Selection and price. Got to get the Gills. Gotta get the Gills.
TK's welcomes its newest kid on the block, Valero Store 18, located on Dean Road in Auburn. The spot for the best price on quality gasoline. With a new look, great prices, and friendly faces, TK's Valero Store 18 on Dean Road should be your only place to stop and fill up and grab a cup of coffee. Always steaming hot and ready to help you start your day. TK's Valero Store 18 is your quality gas low-price leader.
It's true. The Big Blue Bookstore stocks Auburn's best selection of textbooks and sweetens the deal with a low-price guarantee. But wait, there's more. How about a full-service post office inside the store? Don't waste hours and hours standing in the world's slowest line way on the other side of town. Multitask. Big Blue's collection of Auburn merchandise covers all your bases. AU apparel, gifts, home and auto decor, even stuff for your War Eagle pet. Well, looky there. Now you've got gifts for friends and family, and hey, there's a post office to ship them. Go Big Blue. The Big Blue Bookstore. Winn-Dixie Shopping Center on South College.
Everyone knows the Honey Baked Ham Company is the most delicious ham around. But did you know that we have all the perfect dishes for your summer get-together as well? Hey, this is Crystal with Honey Baked Ham on Gateway Drive in Opelika. Honey Baked is now offering barbecued ribs and fresh barbecued pork roast, perfect for your family reunion or outdoor party. With sides like broccoli rice casserole, green bean casserole, macaroni and cheese, and more, stop by Honey Baked to get everything you need when the family is coming into town. Call us today at 741-8411. Honey Baked Ham, perfect every time. We guarantee it.
Hi, I'm Ashley with USA Team Handball, and we're so excited to be working with Auburn University, training here on the Plains. We're working towards representing Team USA in the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, and we need your help. We want to invite you to learn more by going to usateamhandball.org, liking us on Facebook, and following us on Twitter @USATH. To help us out on the road to Rio, go to crowdrise.com/USATH. Every little bit helps, and all donations are tax deductible. Thanks for letting USA Team Handball be a part of the Auburn community. Go USA and War Eagle.
All right, guys, bring it in. Listen up. I want to talk about last night. Yes, sir. Maybe you had your friends over, huh? Cracked open some icy cold Budweisers. I heard that. And maybe, just maybe, you had yourselves the night of your life. Well, yesterday's over, boys, but tonight is just beginning. You got a bunch of bonus buds sitting pretty in your fridge. I want you to crack them open, and I want you to mass text all your friends and round them all up again for round 2. I don't want to hear. I do not want to hear. But we're tired from yesterday, Coach. Or the cleaning lady just left. That's what the fool who missed it would say. Gentlemen, listen to me. You need to go out there and live, and you need to do it tonight. Carpe diem, boys. And while you're at it, carpe nightem too. Great times await. Grab some bud.
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome back, everyone, to this Friday edition of Sports Call. Brett Pritchard and Andy Graham here with you, and we'll be with you for about 25 more minutes here till 6 o'clock. But we want to go to the phone lines now and welcome in Keith Niebuhr from 24/7 Sports. Keith, you on with us?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, guys?
Man, we appreciate you being on. A lot going on in Auburn this weekend as they get ready for their 6th Big Cat weekend. And, looking back on the history of this, Keith, it's a big momentum swing for Auburn heading into the summer.
Yeah, I mean, there's several ways to look at it. One, you can get commits out of it. Now, where that changes this year a little bit is Auburn already has 14 commitments. Well, in past years, you might have had 4 or 5, but the cycle's kind of sped up. So in the past, you would get more commits. This year, it may just be just a great way to maybe get 1 or 2, but to hang on. In sales or in the business world, you want new customers, but you also got to retain the old ones. And that's how recruiting is, too. You're looking for the new guys, but you better not forget about the old people either. And so there's a lot of that going on. But historically, Auburn's done a great job. I can't remember what the exact percentage is, but big targets that have gone to Big Cat Weekend, a lot of times have ended up in Auburn's class. So what they do is they invite the kids, they invite their families. The coaches come, and the coaches' families come. So it's not your usual, let's tour everything, let's break down film. This is let's get to know each other on a different kind of level. And at the end of the day, more often than not, we hear kids, well, what are they looking for? Who can get me to the NFL? where do I feel at home, and who makes me feel like family. Those things come up way before how many championships am I going to win more often than not. You know, to fans, it's, hey, are these guys going to win? That's what I care about. But to the kids, it's a little bit different. That's a major priority winning, but it's down the list a little bit. So this is a great way to bond and get to know these guys on a different kind of level that you don't normally get until maybe you're already at the school.
Keith, let's look at it from a recruit standpoint. Has it gotten to the point now again, this with a being the 6th Big Cat weekend coming up, has it gotten to the point with the recruits where they're out there waiting, are they going to get an invite to this? Because, you know, it kind of makes you feel like you're an exclusive club as far as recruits, because if you get invited to Big Cat, this is where Auburn really puts the full court press on.
Yeah, you know, yeah, that's a little bit of a tricky area, and because generally speaking, an unofficial visit, any kid can go kind of at any time. You know, generally most colleges will find somebody to tour a kid around, even if it's maybe not a top prospect. But yeah, it is a big deal. But again, now the cycle has changed so much. I mean, again, a few years ago, Auburn may have had 3 or 4 commitments at this time, and again, they're heading into this with 14. So, you know, many of those commits are going to be there. So to them, it's a great way to get to know other commits. I think it's probably a bigger deal for somebody that maybe doesn't have an offer, quite honestly. I mean, to say, hey, we want you there. Because I think once a kid has an offer, he knows, hey, these guys want me. I'm in the driver's seat now. This is, you know, the shoe's on the other foot. You know, so I kind of control things. So I think they're excited because it's just another trip to visit a cool school. And, you know, there's a lot of cool schools in the country specifically, or particularly in the Southeastern Conference. But again, more than anything, more than all that, I think it's cool. Yeah, they think it's great that they're getting told they can go to this thing. But I think they, you know, on a different way to look at it is it's great to them because they know that Auburn wants to get to know them on a personal level. It's more than about football, you know, and I think that's big. There's kids coming from all over the South. You've got guys coming from Miami. There's a 5-star quarterback, Lawrence Gibson. He likes Auburn a lot. He's coming all the way up from South Florida. That's not an easy trip. So I think that alone shows what it means to a lot of these kids. You know, it's a big deal. And Auburn has sold it beautifully.
It does, Keith. And we've got Keith Niebuhr on the phone with us here with 24/7 Sports. And Keith, just going down the line, I've had several people ask me about previous Big Cat weekends. Who were some of the Big Cats that were in? So here's some of them that Auburn ended up landing, like a Trevon Reed, a Kenneth Carter, a Sean Coleman, a Brandon Fultz, a Greg Robinson.
Yeah, of course. I've been working on some other stuff, so I don't have that right in front of me. But I could tell you last year, Rock Thomas was there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know, it's building these bonds, and time and again we hear this when these people say, "Why did you pick a school?" Because I felt like home. They felt like family. This is what that is all about. So yeah, you know, Rock Thomas. I believe Jaquel Mitchell, a tight end in the 2014 class. I think this was the day he committed last year.
That's right.
Many of the guys in last year's class were there. Nick Ruffin was there.
That's right.
I believe he committed that day. Now that guy can play. That sucker can play. And I believe that. As a matter of fact, I ran into him today on driving through campus. But that's what you're getting out of it. But again, it's important for people to know. A lot of the big name guys in the past were here and ended up committing. And of course, as soon as you ask me, I draw a blank. But a lot of the big name guys. But again, I can't emphasize this enough. The dynamic of this has changed because Auburn has never had this many commits this early in the year. And that, by the way, that's a good thing. And as a matter of fact, I talked to somebody today with very good knowledge of the program and said, this is great. You know, that they've really, at this point, already locked in on their major targets. A year ago, you know, they had a third as many commitments, and they weren't able to do that. So, again, if you're getting a guy that's a major target to come this weekend, like a Torrance Gibson, there's some other big-name guys that are going to be coming. Supposedly, Jeff Holland, a big linebacker out of Jacksonville, is going to be their big target. His uncle played basketball at Auburn in the 80s with Barkley in person. You can lock in on those guys. You can zero in on them, and I think that's important, too. But, again, they get to know the commitments. They get to know the other targets. They get to know the coaches. But looking back, of course, like I said, I'm drawing a blank, but there have been many big-name guys in the past.
Yeah, Keith, that's what I was saying. I think you misunderstood me. I was rolling off names that Auburn did sign. I was going through the list of ones that did visit on previous Big Cat weekends, like a Patrick Miller and a Casanova McKenzie, and you named off a lot of them, so you did a good job there after you drew a blank.
you know what? You did. Let me point some out. You got a great name there, Patrick Miller. Here's why this is great. Because he was a guy that was committed elsewhere, and he went to that school. Remember, he went to LSU. He was there. He was ready to enroll, and they said, we think we want you to maybe take a gray shirt, or I can't remember what the deal was. And so who did he think about immediately? He thought, well, Auburn. You know, I really felt comfortable at that place. And that goes back to attending a Big Cat weekend. You know, level of comfort. Maybe if he doesn't feel that comfort level at Auburn during one of those trips, and that never happened. Maybe he just says, I'll stick it out at LSU, or maybe I'll go back to Miami or Florida. And so, again, that's the key here, that getting to know these people. And I'll tell you what, I see it all the time. Schools are recruiting families. I mean, they find out who the most important person in that kid's life is, and they lock in on them. And so these kids are going to be coming, a lot of them are going to be coming with family members, and they're going to be able to hang out with the coaches' wives. I mean, that's invaluable. You know, that's a really an underrated aspect of this, as someone like Gus Malzahn's wife, who's sometimes in his office when they offer kids, when they take commitments. And she's part of the process of making people and their parents feel at home, and you can't underestimate that.
No, you can. And, you know, Auburn really preaches the family atmosphere, and when you bring the parents in and they get to see that, it makes a big difference. And, you know, Auburn, coming off the 2012 season, had a rocky – to me, Keith, this proves how big this weekend is, because Auburn really struggled in 2012, changing coaches, but the Big Cat weekend still rendered itself as a big weekend, because they were able to get some big names like a Montravius Adams, a Carl Lawson, a Jason Smith, a Jimmy Hutchinson as a punter. So still able to land some big-time 4- and 5-star guys, even coming off a bad season.
You're right. It's a huge piece of the puzzle. I mean, no one event is so much bigger than any other thing. The Iron Bowl, it was awesome. It was awesome for those kids to watch that they're targeting. But it's a piece of the puzzle. It's not the entire thing. So this is another piece of the puzzle, an important piece, because, again, feeling at home, feeling comfortable, that's where you want to be. And you're talking about last year. These kids last year, they committed for the 2014 class. The guys that committed before Auburn went 12-2 and played for the national championship. They took a leap of faith. And why did they do that? Well, they believed in Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley and Ellis Johnson, but you know, they didn't know they were going to win big at Auburn right away. They had no idea. I mean, they wanted to believe it. I mean, they'll tell you now, oh, yeah, I knew. Well, they didn't know, let's be honest. So what sold them? What sold them is the personalities there. You know, the guys that they were going to be coached by. How do I mesh with that guy? How do I feel at this place? And Auburn made so many of those kids feel at home, specifically during Big Cat weekend. And again, so those kids jump on board and say, you know what, they had a terrible year, but I feel at home, and I believe in these guys because they believe in me, and we really got to know each other on a personal level. It matters, guys. It really does.
Keith, you know, another aspect that a lot of people overlook is that some of these guys that have already committed to Auburn become recruiters themselves to these other big star players, and they bring them in. And, you know, like a Carl Lawson, he was a big-time recruiter while he was at Big Cat weekend for some of these other guys like a Montravius Adams, trying to solicit them. So, you know, these guys are also recruiters in themselves, trying to get these other guys to say, look, if you come join me here, we can do big things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, now, look, that's going on at every school. Every quarterback commits to Miami, he's recruited. But the Auburn guys have had a lot of success, and I know there were some people on our website that were kind of making fun of me a little bit, and I understood, because I kept writing stories, and maybe 2 or 3 stories about how the quarterback commit, Tyler Queen, was recruiting other guys, and he was really into it. And after a while, I think the fans were like, well, when are we going to see some results here, guys? Well, lo and behold, Kerryon Johnson, the 5-star athlete from up in Madison, at Madison Academy up near Huntsville, commits to Auburn. And one of the first things he says is, I'm going to start recruiting because of the example Tyler Queen set for me recruiting me. Okay? So that's significant, too. You nailed it. Carl Lawson's still recruiting, by the way. I mean, the kids in Georgia know who Carl Lawson is, believe me. He's a man-child. He's a legend over in Georgia, really. And not just for football, but for the bodybuilding and the the weightlifting and the training and all that stuff. They know who he is. He's a big salesman. Kids in South Georgia, Montravius Adams, big salesman for that. You know, and obviously Nick Marshall, too. I mean, Nick Marshall gives Auburn so much credibility in that part of the country. And I think those guys, they kind of hang around at these things and or maybe not at this particularly, but they're constantly in the building, and so there's a lot of recruiting going on. There's a lot of it, and but you're right. I mean, it's important. Tyler Queen is going to be there this weekend. I think a lot of the commitments are going to be there, so the other kids will get to know them a little bit better. You got a kid coming up from Miami. I know I'm rambling on here. You got a few kids coming from Miami, including the quarterback I mentioned, and then a young receiver. And those guys don't know these kids in Georgia. This is how they get to know them. You know, if they're just there on a regular old visit where they're putting them on a bus and taking them here, point A to point B, maybe they don't get to know them that well, but they're going to be doing pie eating contests and water balloon stuff. I mean, that's how you get to know somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's how you
exactly.
get to know somebody.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
You know, they're able to see, all they see are, well, this guy in Georgia's a top-ranked recruit. They don't know him personally, so this gives them a chance to interact. But one more thing, Keith, when you bring all these big recruits in, it's a dog and pony show, and you want to show off your best.
Yeah.
I thought what Auburn grounds crew did on the field is tremendous. It has drawn so much press, and charting out the actual path that Chris Davis ran that kickback against Alabama, and they're going to walk on the field, and they're going to show that, and they're probably going to let them walk that or jog it or whatever they want to do. And I mean, just little things like that, just make even adults' eyes big.
Guys, you just emphasized something that I've been emphasizing for years, and I didn't go to Auburn, but I've immersed myself in everything Auburn. I've read books. I've tried to learn as much about Auburn as possible. And for the life of me, I don't understand why that stadium isn't open, because it is a museum, just like it is at a lot of the schools. But that is something that kids are going to love. That is something the coaches are going to think is cool, and maybe it's something they do from here on out. I mean, that play is going to be known in college football for many, 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 many years. I mean, guys, we're still talking about the people my age, the Cal Stanford, the lateral play. That touchdown. I was watching the Doug Flutie pass to beat Miami as a little kid down in Naples, Florida. I'll never forget that. And so, I was at Florida Field when Emmitt Smith had his 96-yard run. So I've seen these plays, and obviously I was there for the two big plays at Auburn last year. To be able to put a kid out there, and while it's playing on the big screen, I think they're really going to enjoy that. I know as somebody who loves college football, I would enjoy it, and I think you guys probably would too.
Well, Keith, I tell you, we really appreciate you being on the program this afternoon with us, and I think you'll be releasing an official list of Big Cat visitors tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be tomorrow morning. First thing tomorrow morning, just trying to dot some I's, cross some T's. There's always last-minute cancellations, and then last-minute kid says, hey, I am going. But to be honest with you, they won't really know until kids get there. You know how kids are, guys. They sleep in, they forget. Mom makes them mow the lawn, and they didn't do it, so they don't get to go. I mean, it's all the stuff we had to deal with,
That's exactly right, and living for the day, no doubt.
That's right.
Keith, I'll tell you what, thank you so much again, and we look forward to having you on again. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Keith. That's Keith Niebuhr from Auburn 247 Sports and .com, and again, they'll have an official list out in the morning of official visitors for this weekend. Andy, do you think the grounds crew will leave that Chris Davis path on the field for the first game of the season against Arkansas?
I doubt it, but that'd be interesting.
Very interesting. 888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401 to be part of the program, or find us on Twitter at Sportscall AU. One more segment coming up on this Friday edition of Sports Call.
Ever wondered what LMG can do for you? The possibilities are endless.
LMG offers custom apparel and promotional products, any type of signage and vehicle wraps, web design and internet marketing, video production, paper products, and more. Visit us online at leemarketing.net. 3 locations to best serve you: Madison Street in Alexander City, Highway 280 in Dadeville, and Frederick Road in Auburn. LMG, success by design.
We're jazzing it up in Alexander City for the 24th annual Alex City Jazz Fest, June 13th and 14th. Join us Friday evening at Strand Park and Saturday night at the Lake Martin Amphitheater for a toe-tapping good time. A spectacular lineup includes Sun Pie Barnes and the Louisiana Sunspots, the Dirty Covenants, all of my cool friends, let's get together. St. Paul and the Broken Bones, and the Green River Ordinance. It ain't love, it can't break your heart. Find us on the web or like us on Facebook. See you soon at the Alex City Jazz Fest.
S&S Discount Tire on Cherokee Road in Alex City is the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealership and a place for everything mechanical. Weary and the S&S Tire crew are ready to serve you with double the capacity from routine oil changes to full engine overhauls and all transmission work. S&S Tire can handle it all. That's S&S Tire on Cherokee Road. Call David or Weary today at 256-215-8822. Visit S&S Discount Tire at 224 East South Street in Dayton, now in 2 locations.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
Before the big game on Saturday, tune in to Saturday Sports Countdown on FM Talk 95.9 from 10 a.m. to noon. Luke Robinson, Randy Lee, and Brett Pritchard break down today's biggest games and keep you up to date on the latest from the sports world. Call the guys at 256-234-6464 and watch live at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Saturday Sports Countdown, 10 a.m. to noon on FM Talk 95.9.
There's no doubt that high school and college athletics rule the state of Alabama. Increase exposure for your business by spending your advertising dollars on the best sports programming in Alabama with Sports Blitz, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network. In a sports-hungry state like Alabama, Sports Blitz, Sportscall, and the AHSAA radio network will offer your business the best return on investment. We have packages designed to fit any budget. Call today at 256-794-8223.
Remove the hard work and confusion from growing your business with brand management and growth through Lee Marketing Group. LMG offers logo design, web development, search engine optimization, social media management, and more. Physical and virtual marketing is an amazing tool businesses need to utilize in today's economy. Stay ahead of your competition and reach new customers. Contact us today, 888-533-6758, or visit us online at leemarketing.net to learn more.
Looking for the most comprehensive sports show in Alabama? Catch Sports Blitz live from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. Join Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, and Luke Robinson as they discuss the latest in high school, collegiate, and nationwide athletics. Tune in to FM Talk 95.9, watch live on ACN Charter Channel 80, or catch the live stream at sportsblitzlive.com. That's sports with a Z. That's Sports Blitz Live, Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m.
Welcome back to Sports Call, presented by Always Money. Andy Graham and Brett Pritchard here with you for one final segment. This segment brought to you by Resource Natural Spring Water. Resource bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic, which is great for the environment. Right now, TK's convenience stores are offering a buy one, get one free special on bottles of Resource Natural Spring Water. So go out, you can help the environment and quench your thirst, all in one swift motion. All right, one final segment here, Brett. This is a heartbreaking or a breaking news story that I just can't get away from. I've got an odd fascination with this, and my girl Molly Schuler, Molly Schuler is back at it. You'll of course remember Molly Schuler was the one, the 5'7", 125-pound mother of four that a few months ago ate 363 chicken wings in 30 minutes, by the way, and set a record. Well, she's been at it again. She broke Joey Chestnut's 21. He broke the record for eating a 72-ounce steak with the trimmings, shrimp, salad, baked potato, and rolls in 8 minutes and 52 seconds in 2008. Now that broke a 21-year-old record. So along comes my girl Molly, and she polishes off a 72-ounce steak with all the trimmings in 4 minutes and 58 seconds.
How do you do that?
I have no idea. You know what she had for dessert? Another 72-ounce steak and all the trimmings in 9 minutes and 59 seconds.
I don't even know what to say. I'm completely and totally speechless over here.
I'm fascinated by it.
Nobody will beat that.
No, I mean, why would you want to? Number one, I mean, I've said this. I ate a 16-ounce steak.
Kobayashi who?
I ate a 16-ounce steak at Outback about 3 or 4 months ago, and thought I was gonna die. I was so full. She ate a 72.
She ate 2 of them.
She ate 2.
That's unbelievable. I mean, if you slap 2 72-ounce steaks down on a table, how much beef that is?
A manhole cover. I mean, unbelievable. But she ate it in 5 minutes. I mean, how do you even stop to chew? It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating.
I mean, what do you think about professional contest eaters? I mean, like competitive eating. I mean, it started with the Nathan's hot dog contest, and now it's gone to this. I can't. If there's a zombie apocalypse, I want to stay away from this girl. I see a quote here.
Yeah, the owner of the steakhouse, he said, "We've witnessed history today. If there's a zombie apocalypse, I want to stay away from this girl." Boy, Lord, is that not the truth?
She ate 363 wings though, back in what, January?
Yeah, in 30 minutes.
It's 363. And how big is it? 5'7", 125 pounds.
125 pounds.
Where does it go?
That's a good question. I mean, can you imagine, and I don't want to be too gruesome here, but can you imagine the days afterward? I mean, it's got to be
Were they hot?
unpleasant.
Mild?
That's a good question. It doesn't matter.
It does not matter at that point. I was hoping you wouldn't go there, but I mean that obviously popped into my mind. But I can't even
body works the way it works.
Stay away.
Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, had to get that out there.
Well, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the most you've ever eaten in one city? Can you? I mean,
not even close to that. I haven't even eaten the big, huge hamburger at
Big Mac.
at Cheeseburger Cheap.
Oh yeah, the 1 pound.
The 1 pound. Have you eaten that?
I have not. Never tried.
You think you could do it?
I believe. Well, when I was 19, I could have.
You don't think you can do it now?
There's no chance.
No chance.
No chance.
Okay, so we don't need to have a cheeseburger eating contest.
Well, no, we could do that, but I'd go for it.
Realistically, how many wings could you eat before you just absolutely said? I mean, until it started coming back the other way.
Now again, when I was in my prime, probably 48.
40, 50.
I could, yeah.
I mean, and that's a lot of food.
Yes, it is.
363. That's unbelievable. I don't know, man. What a crazy way to end the show on a Friday.
Yeah, well, we want to recognize Corey. This is his last day. Corey from Auburn, the producer down there. We appreciate all that he does and wish him well in everything that he does. So, the NHL playoffs are still going on. The Rangers are in the Stanley Cup for the first time, that, as far as I know, since 1994. So we'll see who they play. It's between the LA Kings and Chicago
NBA
Blackhawks.
playoffs.
NBA playoffs, finding, are the Pacers, can they stave off elimination? No. Can we get a decent away game in the Western Conference?
I mean, look, they barely beat the Heat, and LeBron James had 7 points. Okay, so does that tell you all you need to know?
Well, the music's playing. That's going to do it for us on this Friday edition of Sports Call, presented by Always Money. We appreciate so much all of our callers and all of you out there listening. Will's going to be back with you on Monday. For Brett Pritchard, our producer Justin Clayton, my name is Andy Graham, saying so long for now. We'll talk again soon.